From the wild and wacky, whose line is it anyway? Actor, comedian, improv genius Colin Mochrie joins me to prove he is one of Canada's most playful mammals who is never stuck for an answer. Hi, I'm Fanny Kiefer, and it's good to be here with you today and with the imaginative captain of mockery, one Colin Mochrie. He is an untamed Scottish-born Canadian comedian whose imagination runs wild on stage and perhaps off. When Mochrie mocks, talks, entertains, and improvs, he improves our spirits every time he comes up with a new antic or line or simply a word, like hello.
Hello.
That wasn't good enough.
I hadn't practiced.
Hello.
Hello.
I like that.
Thank you. Oh, I got stuff going on.
I think you do, but you didn't always. Rumor has it you were a shy child.
Yeah. Didn't
say much, not the class clown, true?
Absolutely true. And it's still very shy, but had to, once the success of Whose Line happened, had to sort of break out of that. But like even now, my palms are sweating, and you're lovely and being very nice to me, and yet it's just, oh.
And we gave you free water.
I know. It's all the best. I should be just happy, and I am happy, but I still get really nervous and shy.
I think you should be euphoric. Anybody...
Okay, I'll work on euphoric.
I'm for that.
All right.
Okay. Anybody in your family funny? An actor?
No.
No.
They were Scottish. They have a very morbid sense of humor, so that probably shaped some of the things I've done in improv. My grandfather was a funny man. He was always with the jokes and had a good outlook on life, so I guess from that side of the family I got a little bit of humor.
Right. Anybody tell good stories?
No. No. I'm just trying to think. No, nobody told good stories in the family.
You're not a chip off the block.
No, not in that way.
Right.
I mean, they were great in that they were very supportive of my decision to go into this, even though they really had no idea what it is or why I wanted to do it. And it wasn't till way after Whose Line, I was on Hollywood Squares. And for that, for my mother, I had made it.
I guess so.
It was pretty exciting.
Who was the host?
It was Tom Bergeron.
Right. Hollywood Squares. Do you remember who was with you?
It was a lot of the Whose Line guys. Kermit the Frog, who actually did an impression of me, which was odd but funny. Yeah, but it was mostly Drew was there, and Ryan Stiles and Wayne.
Drew Carey laughs at you a lot.
He's very smart man.
He must be. Of course he is.
He knows what's funny.
Brilliant.
I cannot say enough about Drew. I mean, because of him, I ended up with this great career, and yeah, he was a big fan of everyone on the show, and it was because of him solely that we managed to get Whose Line on American television.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, he's like the laughing bag in a sense. You have one of those at your house, or did you get one for Christmas ever?
No, never.
The laughing bag, and it laughs, and everybody starts to laugh because they're listening to laughter.
Yeah, he was great. He was the best audience member on set. He loved watching what we did, and he was, as I said, just a big fan of us. And I cannot say enough about him. Incredibly generous man, and yeah.
And he's the reason.
Good kisser.
Good kisser.
My first love scene ever was with Drew on the Drew Carey Show. I know.
No.
Yeah.
Had you ever kissed a boy before?
No.
Because I know you're not on that windowsill. I know you have a wife.
Yeah. No, and then it seemed on Whose Line after that, it was like I was forced to kiss every single person on that show. But, I'm pretty secure, so,
sure.
And if it got a laugh, I was there.
And that's pretty much what you do, because you do things you never do in real life. Oh. I'm assuming.
No.
I
hope not.
On
no.
Whose Line.
Yeah.
But you do things we all would love to do.
It's odd. I mean, there have been times where I've been switching channels and I see an old Whose Line and I see myself and I'm immediately embarrassed for that guy. My wife calls him the other because he is so different from me. But it's the same with the live show. Once when I walk out on stage, it's the most comfortable I am in life. It's just I feel so relaxed, I feel in charge. Even though that's not really true, I do feel like it's all going to work out.
But you walk out on a stage because you do improv with nothing, really. 2 hours in front of a live audience, not having any idea what's going to happen, or do you? Is some of it scripted?
No, nothing. Brad Sherwood and I have been touring for 8 years, and we found that the show works best and the most magic happens when we're the farthest away from our comfort zone that we can be. So we're constantly trying to find ways of keeping ourselves off balance. So we have sort of a set list of the games we're playing, and that's it. Then everything else is in the audience's hand.
2 men, no script. I'm seeing that tonight with you.
Oh, good. Should be fun.
Should be fun. Cost me $150. Better be fun.
Wow, pressure.
Well, it's a fundraiser for the Kay Meek,
yes,
which is a wonderful theater, and I'm all over supporting community
even if the show
theater.
sucks, you're still doing something good for the community.
Exactly. And I think I get a tax receipt.
Oh, well, it's a win-win
situation. Vicky
situation.
Gabbro is going to be there, and for sure she's funny.
Yeah, she's lovely.
Tell me about Brad Sherwood. How did you meet him?
When did I meet him? He was actually doing a show that my wife and her writing partner had come up with and was being shot in LA, and he was hired, I think, the last few shows to do to play a part. And then shortly after that, we were both in the British Who's Line. So and then the American Who's Line. So it just kept growing and growing. And it's been, we've been touring for 8 years. It's like the perfect relate, because he lives in LA, I live in Toronto. We just meet for the show, do it, and then we go our separate ways.
Is he a Chicago boy originally?
Yeah, yeah, born in Chicago. Now he whines about the cold.
It is funny to think of somebody from Scotland and somebody from Chicago bonding.
Yeah.
You know?
That's the beauty of improv. You know, you get together with people from so many different backgrounds, but you have this common thing, making up crap in front of an audience. And we all have the same sort of foundation and rules. And, you know, one of the best rules of improv is a thing called yes and, where you accept people's ideas and you build on it. Basically, improv is everything you don't do in life. You listen to people, you accept their ideas, you build on that. And so it works out. You can basically work with anyone who has a good improv background.
I was raised with a father who said to me, now remember, God has an arm around your shoulder and a hand over your mouth. Yeah.
That's good.
I know. Or somebody's grandfather said to them, because of that mouth, when you die, we're going to have a funeral for your mouth, a separate one, right? So you get to do that and get paid to do that and spout funny and the antics, the physical comedy of it all. Take me back to the beginning. First audition for the Brits, right?
Yes. I was at Second City. The British producers were doing sort of a cross-country audition, Toronto, Vancouver, Chicago, LA. So they saw the show and they liked everyone and said, we'd like you to audition tomorrow morning at 8, which when you're at Second City, you get into the night lifestyle. So 8 o'clock was early. So, but we were all there, we worked, but we were doing that thing that you're supposed to do in improv where everybody's supporting each other. So nobody stood out because we were doing ensemble work, so none of us got cast. And it wasn't until the next year, because of the show Deb, my wife, was doing, we'd moved down to LA, and I was auditioning with people I didn't know. So it was like, hey, screw you, look at me. Important lesson for you kids out there, be selfish. So from that, I got the British show.
But turned down the first time?
Yeah.
The second time? Got it?
The second time, got it, yeah. And then it was a slow process to become a regular. Because the producer, God bless him, just never trusted his performers. He's a control freak, and probably doing an improv show was his worst choice. But thank God, but because of him, it got on air.
And did they give you rules backstage? Like improv, as you say, is no rules.
Yeah.
But there must be some lines you're not supposed to cross.
Not in
Words
Britain.
you're not supposed to say.
When we were in Britain, there was no censorship. You could say, you could do anything. There was a couple of F-bombs dropped. There were things done to the Queen which were unmentionable. So it was an odd transition to go to the States where there was a censor in the booth at all time because they didn't have a script to read. They were basically there to stop us from being naughty, which we were pretty good, but we didn't know where the line was. There was one scene where I kissed Greg Proops, and a voice came out of nowhere and said, "Can you make something else up?" Now, in the previous scene, I'd killed 3 women and thrown them out a window. That was fine. But kissing a man was like... and Drew has a real button on censorship. So what would happen was the next 10 minutes was unfilmable because he'd be using words you can't use on television to describe the games. So they came up with this thing. They would wait till after the show, and then the censor and the producer would go over objectionable material and work it out.
Because we all remember, maybe you don't, you perhaps weren't born, but I remember what happened to the Smothers Brothers.
Oh, yeah. No, God bless you. Yeah, I was around.
God bless
I can go back to Jack Parr, even.
He was good.
Yeah.
He was really good.
Yeah, I was just watching all his shows on DVD, and it's like, the pace is so, they're actually conversing, they're not plugging things. I miss those days.
It's changed.
Yeah. Oh,
It's
God,
changed
I've become
a lot.
a fogey.
You've noticed.
Oh, what happened?
A fogey. I'll have to ask your wife about that. Where did you meet her? Deb.
She hired me for Second City.
She did.
It was a pretty...
Is she funny?
Grilling. Yeah, she's the...
I know she's an actor.
I'm not the funniest one in the family. It goes Deb, then my son, the dogs, and then me.
The dogs are funnier than you are.
Well, you know, and they're also cute, so they have a bit of an advantage.
What kind of dogs?
Cairn Terriers.
Oh. There's a part of a terrier you never own.
Oh, never. It's like they don't do anything that I ask them to do. They're just horrific animals.
And you're the guy who gets to work out his sick fantasies on stage.
Well, I wouldn't say they're sick fantasies.
Well, some are.
Yeah, I guess some are.
Some are.
There is a freedom on stage that...
Yeah. There is. And now somebody gives you a prop, whatever it is. Does it just come to you automatically what to do with it, or?
It does. It was weird in the American Who's Line because they would actually make the props, and we wouldn't see them until the show. But they would come out, and my first thing always was, "It's genitalia," but I thought I can't say anything about that because of the censor. So I was always blocking my first thought and then trying. And sometimes it was easier than others. And
I see. It looks like a tampon, but can't go there.
I can't go there. I have to think of something, or somehow do it that the audience knows exactly what I'm thinking of, but the censor somehow misses it. It's a fine line. It's constantly thinking.
Fine line, but how much fun? Rev, 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 rev. Have you ever been simply stuck? Not a funny day for you. Don't have a thought in your poodle brain.
Never. I mean, the beauty with improv is you always have someone else there, so there's always a lifesaver. Even if you're not on top of things, then you just go to supporting that person until you get back on track.
How did you learn to do it?
I was fairly lucky in that it came quite naturally. My first exposure to it was watching, I was at theater school, and there was this demonstration of a thing called theater sports. And I thought, oh, that looks like it'd be a lot of fun. And being a lazy person, I thought, oh, you don't have to really learn anything, you just do it. So I took a workshop and then was just thrown in with people and found that I took to it quite naturally. And I've always been really lucky in that I've always been working with great people. I mean, not only the Who's Line guys, but when I first started at theater sports, it was just a great group of people that I learned so much from.
Like what?
Just to live in the moment for that time you're on stage, not to go out. The worst thing is when you go out and try to plan something because the other people have no idea what you're doing. So then you've just lost what they've said and perhaps a potential gem trying to get your idea in. So that's actually the hardest thing to learn, just to trust yourself and trust the people you're with to walk out there with nothing.
Let it flow.
Yeah. Like this. You know, we haven't got anything planned. We're just going along. I think it's going very well, by the way, don't you?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. I don't have a tough question. Let me see.
Okay. Tough question. All right.
Let me look.
Okay.
Maybe we'll take a break and we'll think of it.
Sweat a little.
All right. Let's take a break. We'll think of a tough question.
Okay.
Okay. Back with Colin Mochrie soon.